Doing great.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, Being Healthy and Well When Forced to Sit. The doctors at South Orange Chiropractic Center know that you probably spend more time sitting these days than you should. And this webinar will cover practical ways to keep your body healthy during long bouts of sitting. You'll be able to approach your long days at work with a new perspective and possibly feel better armed with this new information. The doctors will open the call for questions after their presentation. So doctors, over to you.
So we decided that we had, in addition to the video we had done in the past of Stay Fit While You Sit, and there's some exercises that we did, ergonomics. A lot of patients are still coming in post-COVID because they're still working from home. Maybe they get into the office 2 or 3 times a week, but they're still working at the dining room table. They're still working from their couch on their laptop, and they're still having issues. So I think it's important that when you're locked into the computer or locked into your desk for 8 or 10 hours, if we can keep it simple that you can make some changes, we want to focus around the concept of maintaining that energy so you don't leave that workday fatigued, tired. And there are steps that you can take. And it's going to boil around eat well, think well, and move well. Good 3 things that we talk about all the time, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think a good place to start is let's get the nutrition part out of the way, because people are not eating well when they're rushing to their computer or sitting at the desk. And what are some things that we hear that people bring to the desk while they're working?
A lot of times it's a bag of chips, Diet Coke or a Coca-Cola to keep them up. And, these are all harmful to the body and actually fatigue you even more.
Right. And it's when they're getting tired 2 hours into the workday, it's that 3rd or 4th cup of coffee. Right.
Right.
And that can be an issue because 1, it'll dehydrate you. 2, I guarantee you, most people drinking coffee, they're not drinking organic, and coffee seems to be one of the most sprayed and treated substances that we put in our body, right? If it's not moldy. So it's important to get a low acid organic coffee, which is available.
And if you're drinking a cup of coffee, people don't know how much water they're actually losing. And science says you drink a cup of coffee, you should replace that with 8-ounce glass of water. So unfortunately, you're not being told that information.
Right. And the fact of the matter is, if you're sipping ice water throughout the day, it's been proven that you can burn an additional 300 to 400 calories sitting just by sipping ice water, because it will increase your metabolism. Right. And one of the number 1 triggers for daytime fatigue is dehydration. So, there's no set amount of water that you should be drinking, but there are guidelines. Right? And what do we tell our patients?
The guidelines are simple. It's half your body weight in ounces. So if I'm 180 pounds, I should be drinking 90 ounces of water slowly throughout the day. And studies actually say that you should be drinking it slowly. Everyone says, well, the 90 ounces is a lot of water, so I'm just going to gulp down 20 ounces in the morning, another 20 in the evening, and throughout the day. But it's shown that when you drink more water in excess, you actually use the bathroom more often. So that fear with always having to run to the bathroom, that could be eliminated if you do drink it slowly and you start to do it on a regular basis.
Right. What we put in our bodies is also important. A lot of our patients that are working from home, they tend to spend more hours working on the computer at home than they do if they went into the office. They're starting earlier, they're finishing later, they're replacing that commute time with computer time. So endurance is a big part. And instead of eating, like you said, the chips or some of these high sugar energy bars, there's nothing wrong with having raw almonds, macadamia nuts, walnuts, good sources of protein, and take a lunch break.
Yeah.
Right? You can't stay straight through.
No, you're not. And we know sugar is, sitting is sugar to the spine. It's decaying, and it's one of the most compressive forces on the disc, which ultimately leads to low back pain and more commonly sciatic discomfort. So you got to get up, you got to move, and you got to start to learn how to stretch in between your visits from being on the computer to taking a break every 45 minutes.
Another good part of when you're sitting all day is making sure your thought processes are clean. What I mean by that is thinking well. And we can get distracted many times when there's background noises. If you're working from home or you're working in the office and people are there with chatter, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's unrelated to your work, and you're trying to focus and you're on a conference call or a Zoom call, that background noise can be draining. So it's, have a place where you can work that you can be quiet, close the door, even background noise, right? Of music.
Yeah, music, white noise machines, they say are very soothing. It kind of comforts your mind as you're working throughout the day. And then, again, CDs for relaxation, because ultimately you're going to get your work done, but having that mindset of relaxation, taking it step by step, you're going to plow through your tasks.
Knowing some breathing techniques is also important if you're sitting at your workstation and there's a lot going on in your world and on your computer. Something called box breathing, where you will slow down, inhale for the count of 4, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale for a count of 4. And do that for a series of 5 times. This will help reset your brain, oxygenate your body, and will refresh you. So, right, good idea?
Very good idea.
Blue screen.
All right.
So we've got a pair here of what's called blue light glasses sitting in front of your screen, and that blue light. It's nice to put on a pair of blue light glasses when looking at the screen because it will create less fatigue, right? And likewise, you shouldn't be on your, in our sleep workshop, we talked about not being on computers, electronics because of the blue light, because it activates those neurotransmitters.
And one other thing about the blue light lenses, it filters it so that it eliminates headaches, migraines. If anybody was watching America's Got Talent, Simon Powell was recently on there with these different glasses on. Everybody's like, what's going on? And it's because of his ongoing migraines from the lights in the casting hall. So save yourself some time, get your glasses on.
Right. Good posture at the workstation is important, and that's where your exercises will come in. But how many times are we focused forward into the computer? And then we get things like what's called tech neck, because your head's going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's tech hunch, where you're bent over because the ergonomics is not right. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, if you look throughout this video, Dr. Levine and I are both sitting far back in our chairs. We're utilizing the backrest because ultimately we know that's what it was made for. When we're at our computers and we're doing 6 to 8 hours on our off day here, we're sitting upright. And if any of you can see, my knees are at 90, or if at times I feel like I'm going to be there a little bit longer, I like to put something underneath my feet, like a 3-ring binder or a stool, and that's going to keep me focused more upright. And when I'm staring at my computer, I'm making sure that I'm as close as possible to my workstation, so it's locking me in. Hands are at 90, and my screen is always at or just a little bit above eye level, so I don't have to focus too forward. Don't have to have that tech neck that we were just talking about, which fatigues you mentally and physically and causes all that stress in your neck and shoulders that most people come to the chiropractor for on a regular, but that's going to help keep us in the best posture possible to eliminate fatigue on our muscles, fatigue on our spines and nervous system. Anything else you want to add about that?
Well, before we get into showing some exercises that you can do at the workstation, which is critical, it's not just about sitting in correct posture. It's working the muscles that you're overworking or overstretching. Okay, if you have the opportunity, if you're on a Zoom call, stand up. See if you can stand, and some people have a standing desk. They can put one foot up on something, or if it's a conference call, you can walk around with a headset. A headset would be ideal, or put your cell phone on speaker so you're not holding it to your head and getting those 5G waves going through your brain. Keep that phone as far away from you as possible. This is one of the things that cause fatigue also, is poor posture. If we can read something, one of our favorite quotes on posture is from it was Health and Fitness. Dr. Roxy's going to read it and let you go with that.
All right, so I'm going to read the entire title to you. Posture is affected by and affects every aspect of our lives. Your state of nutrition, exercise, stress management, body fat control, and mental development depend on your posture. Posture is one of the most overlooked keys to best health and performance. Good posture not only improves fitness, thinking ability, emotional state, and general vitality, it can actually help reverse the aging process, not just cosmetically, but functionally. And this was from the Health and Fitness Excellence Journal of 1989.
That's right. And this was a quote from Robert K. Cooper, who is ex-Army Ranger and neurophysicist who studied human performance. That's why he said posture is the most overlooked key to best health. And the only doctors that I know that work on helping people's posture are chiropractors. And I think we're chiropractors.
Yeah.
So we can help you with your posture.
It's amazing that it's from 1989 and we've been talking about it since then, but now it's sought after. Companies are looking for us to educate their members of the community to make sure that they're more productive, not just in work, but outside of the workplace, less injuries.
So we talked about some nutrition, better protein, less carbs, drinking more water to complement the coffee that you're drinking, resetting your brain with proper breathing techniques, isolating get rid of some of the background noise and the chatter, blue light glasses, the box breathing is what we talked about. Now I think it's time to demonstrate some simple things you can do at your desk to prevent fatigue and breakdown of the nervous system and the human structure and the musculoskeletal system. So one is we have what we call the goal post rotation. So if I'm sitting in my computer and I'm on my keyboard all day long and on my mouse, it's nice to be getting my hands up and shoulders up and retracting them back and coming up as a goalpost. And I can feel my scapulas and my mid-back tighten up as I bring that goalpost up. So keeping the elbows at 90 degrees and coming down, retraction, and then goalpost. And hold that each position for 5 seconds and do that 5 times. Coming back, squeezing your chicken wings together, and then coming up for 5 seconds. And if you do that once an hour, that's going to help relieve some of that upper back. 100%. How about shoulder rolls?
Shoulder rolls. Excellent idea. So we encourage everybody to sit up nice and tall every 45 minutes. And what you want to do is, because you're drawn forward, you want to sit up nice and tall, keep the shoulders back, and gently bring the blades together in the back of your spine and then retract them down. So it's simply bringing them up to your ears, pinch the blades together between your shoulders, and then bring them down. And just do that for a set of 15 or 20. And already you could feel the chest stretching and the back muscles engaging, so you're working the posterior part of your body compared to the front. What other stretch could we do for our chest? Would be simple. You put your hands behind your back, slip your chest out, and you're going to push down to the ground while keeping your head and chin level. And you can hold that for a 5 to 10 count if comfortable, and release. And then again, sit up nice and tall, pushing your body and chest out, 5 to 10 count, relieving that stress in your shoulders and chest.
Now, a lot of times we're getting people with shoulder problems, tendonitis, because they have one arm extended on the mouse and they're always leaning forward. So if we interlock our fingers and raise our arms straight above our head and push upward to stretch out the shoulder and the rotator cuff, hold that for like 15 seconds if you can, and really feel the stretch and get circulation into those muscles. Lock out the elbows and then bring that down. Don't hold your breath. Make sure you breathe as you're holding it. And you want to do that for a series of 3 times just to get that circulation in conjunction with what Dr. Oxy did with putting your hands behind your back and pushing your chest out.
And that move also elongates the spine and is taking pressure off the disc. So you're also helping your entire spine and nervous system as well.
Now, we did submit a handout. I'm not sure if you want to throw that up just so you can see a picture of what we were talking about. And there are some other stretches that you can do, getting up against a wall or filing cabinet, stretching out. The calf is in the top left-hand corner. Doing a squat is top center. And that stretches out those quads, all right, which tighten up when you're sitting. And the one below it, holding on to the doorway, grabbing one leg up. If you can't grab that one leg up, you can use a towel to stretch that quad out. And a couple others that are there, just standing and or sitting, stretching your hands out in front of you. So just so you get an idea of what it looks like and some other things you can do. But remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's good to keep the joints moving and prevents fatigue, as well as making sure that you don't break down with tech neck or tech hunch.
Absolutely. And I think it's important that everyone knows that every 45 minutes, they should take a rest, program it on your phone, have a buddy to help you stretch and take a break. And ultimately, it's going to increase your work productivity if you have less discomfort, less this ease in your neck and shoulders.
Right. One of the other devices that we have in the office that we've recommended to some patients is called the Posture Medic. And it's a band that you can stretch and then you can wear it so it retracts your shoulders. So some people like having simple devices. We tell patients not to purchase it, just to wear it. The whole point is to do the exercises and with the stretching band, and that will help build strength and endurance. So it's using some of the exercises that we demonstrated, but with resistance. And I think that kind of sums it up. There's, the eat well, think well, move well concept. And I think we gave plenty of good tips to implement, right?
Great.
And I think we're open for any questions.
That's great. Thank you very much, doctors. We have 3 questions here. First one, will a better chair help me sit longer?
Ultimately, a better chair is going to hold you in proper posture if you're utilizing it. But again, sitting longer, we don't advise you to sit longer because, again, sitting is the most compressive to the disc, compressive to the spine. So regardless of the chair, you should take a break every 45 minutes to elongate your muscles, reset the spine, and take some pressure off those fatigue joints.
Great. That kind of leads us into the next one here. The question is, what do I do on those days where my Zoom calls really are back to back for at least a couple of hours?
So if you can arrange your workstation, one where maybe you can stand up for some of them, maybe tilt the screen so you can still Zoom and stand. I'm not sure, some people are doing Zooms and they put a background up where they're not always present, and you can participate and do some of your exercises while you're there. Make sure you have some chilled water that you can sip during your Zoom call, and you have to muscle through it sometimes.
Right. And then also a good thing would be a headset.
Right, absolutely.
Headset, and again, if you have that availability that you don't have to be present on it, take some breaks, walk around your home or your office space, and rejuvenate.
Excellent. Last question has to do with the coffee drinkers in the crowd. So the question is, can I just replace 1 cup of coffee to 1 cup of water? Is that enough of a ratio to keep me healthy?
Yeah, that is the formula. For every cup of coffee, 1 cup of water, and that's going to help replenish you. But ultimately, you still want to have a little bit more water at the end of the day, which is half your body weight in ounces, because that's what your body's made out of, water. The more water you are, the better you are on your toes for thinking, energy, sleep, less hunger. So you want to get more water.
And use a high quality coffee. Try and get organic and something that it has less toxicity to it.
Very good. That's all the questions that we have today. So thank you very much for joining us for the webinar today. If you would like to book an appointment with the doctors, you can go online to southorangechiropractic.com/book your appointment. There's a button at the top of the website. You just click on that, or you can call the office directly, 908-364-5497. Thank you very much for joining us for the webinar today. Have a great day.
Great,
Bye-bye.
thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for